Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about the Arcanist. So we have 5 pieces of Cold Harbor's favorite, 5 pieces of Deadly. Go through each one of these so you guys can see what's on each one. Chest, belt, boots, legs, arms, shoulder, 1 piece of Valken Scoria, that extra offensive penetration, Deadly Ring, Oaken Soul Ring, Deadly Necklace with the bow. And then if you cannot craft this set yet, or you haven't found a friend that can craft this set for you, because this is a crafted set, a very, very good crafted set, run Tarnished Nightmare until you can get this set crafted for you. But what makes this set so good is you can also switch out if you want to, and you're trying to be like with this character of mine. Sometimes I'll switch to a healer and I'll put 5 pieces of spell power cure on and take off the deadly set, because Cold Harbor's favorite, if you deal damage, it summons a Cold Harbor's favorite that deals damage. But if you heal, it summons a Cold Harbor's favorite that will heal group members. It's really, really cool. I really like this set a lot. But yeah, just a little side option for you guys. If you run into a situation where you're in a trial or something and somebody's like, hey, we need another healer, I'm like, well, I can switch this character and then take one of the sets off, put spell power cure on, and then change up a couple skills, and there you go. You're a healer. Out of all the builds that I've done so far, this is the easiest one to kind of switch it off and stuff. Or you could just make a second set altogether and just save it, and then you can just switch back and forth easily between your DPS and your healer of the same thing. All you'd have to do is just switch out your bow for a resto staff, switch out the deadly set for spell power cure, change a couple skills, and there you go. You're going to be a pretty decent healer. But I felt like with this build, we weren't getting enough healing back. We get a lot of defense, but we picked up the Orzorga's Blood Price Pie for our food because it gives us max health and health recovery. But any food that gives you health and health recovery, go with that. For our skills, we are running Inspired Scholarship, Cephiliarch's Flail, Impervious Rune Ward, Acid Spray from the Bow, Pragmatic Fate Carver with the Tide King's Gaze. Now, the Tide King's Gaze and the Pragmatic Fate Carver, I try to cast the Tide King's Gaze in a boss fight first, and then cast the Pragmatic Fate Carver. So what I want to do is I want to activate the Scholarship, then activate my shield, so I have my shield going right from the beginning, because I'm going to be forced to be decently close to one of the enemies on the screen so that I can hit them a few times with the flail to get my runes to make the Fate Carver as powerful as possible. So start this, put this on our weapon. We'll get our shield, we throw a couple flails out. Just enough to get our 3 runes going. Then we fire our bow skill, hit a couple enemies with that, and then we fire. And, you can step around if you need to, but we fire the Fate Carver off last. Now, like I said, with a boss fight, I'm not going to cast the Fate Carver just yet. So I'm going to activate this, hit him with this a few times. Make sure I have my runes. I'm going to go ahead and throw out a couple lights just so I can get my ultimate back. Another thing, what I tend to do is, if I'm taking a lot of damage, or if I'm in like group dungeons and stuff like that, I kind of try to pick at the enemies And so if I'm up close like this, I switch over to light attacks. And then I'm weaving light attacks in between all of my skill use. But when I'm further back away from the enemies, I'm throwing out the heavies. And the heavies hit pretty dang hard. And when you're dealing damage from anywhere on the screen, the Cold Harbor's favorite will go off with your heavy attacks. So you effectively have 2 attacks that you're doing from long range. If you're taking a lot of damage or for whatever reason you want to stay back a little ways and you don't want to be getting hit by everything, you can just do that. Just fire heavies, and your Cold Harbor's favorite will proc. And as you can see, it does really good damage, and it's just a really good ability for hitting multiple enemies. Fantastic. But yeah, so we're up close like this. We're throwing out our lights, dropping that, couple lights, drop that, couple lights, drop that, couple lights, drop that. Our bow skill. And then, if this was a boss, I would not cast the Fate Carver yet. I do not want to cast the Fate Carver yet. I want to cast my ultimate on the boss first, and then the Fate Carver. So this is what it'll look like. That, and then that. And then you just get all your runes back. Fire it again. And then, if you want to, another reason to be back here is after you've casted everything and you've used up your ultimate, you back away from the boss. You just throw out your heavies on other enemies or the boss himself. Cold Harbor's favorite's going to go off. You can just keep doing this. And wait for your ultimate to come back. Then you can move back up into the enemy's faces or the boss's face and use your ultimate and build up your the maximum power with your Fate Carver, which is super easy because, like, especially like when I'm running in PvP, I'm prioritizing my flail and then my Fate Carver on the enemies. So most of the time, if they're really far away, just like always, I'm hitting them with the heavies. But then I'm coming in and I'm just hitting them with this. And then I'm casting this, moving around. Coming in, hitting them with this again, 3 times. And then casting this again. In PvP, it's pretty devastating. And then you can come in, hit them 3 times like this. Hit them with this. And you're just melting. But then, on top of everything else, you can come in, hit them 3 times with the flail, cast your ultimate, and then cast your Fate Carver. Anything standing there is going to have a bad day. And this goes for a little while. So yeah, that's usually how I run this character. Let's look at the champion points now. So 50 into Fighting Finesse, 50 into Wrathful Strikes. Make sure you put all 20 points into Precision. You come in here, 20 points here, 40 points into Battle Mastery, 30 points into Mighty because you're using a stamina-based weapon, the bow. Get your 50 into Weapons Expert because this is going to bump up your light and heavy attacks with your bow. And then eventually you're going to want to fill these in because we are using some Magicka-based abilities. And then you're going to make sure you fill all these in because this is your defense. These are all super important. Make sure you put 20 points into here because you are creating some healing for yourself. And 50 points into Thaumaturge. So plus 6% damage done with your damage over time effects. Then in Fitness, 16 points into Hasty because, like I've said before, your speed is actually a skill in itself. So making your character fast is really super important. 50 points into Bastion. This is going to bump up the amount of defense you're getting from your shield and from the Fate Carver. Rejuvenation, 50 points Fortified 50 points, and then go into Survivor's Spite. 50 points into Mystic Tenacity, 25% reduced duration to status effects applied to you. And then Sustained by Suffering. I felt like this was super important because, like I said, the weakness is not... We have really, really good defense, but when we lose that health, that's where the weakness is with this build. So I wanted to make sure to pick up Sustained by Suffering. Increase your health, magicka, and stamina recovery by 30 per stage while under the effects of a negative effect. So 150 health, magicka, and stamina recovery anytime you have a negative effect on you. It's really, really, really good. And then finally over here, you can put whatever points you want in here. I did 50 into Treasure Hunter, 75 into Master Gatherer, because this is the character I used to do scrying with and treasure hunting. So I'll go get treasure chests and loot treasure chests, and I will gather materials for my crafting character. But the most important thing here is Steed's Blessing. You're going to want to put 50 points into that. That's top priority for the craft side of things. And then another really, really good one is Rationer, 30 more minutes to the duration of any food or drink that you use. So that's really, really good too. I suggest picking that up. But this is number one priority. Make your character fast. The faster you are, the easier it is to step out of AoE damage. And I think I covered the Orzorga Blood Price Pie, but just in case, this is what we're using also, because I said before, our health recovery and health overall is our weakness with this build. So pick up this or any food that gives you max health and health recovery. And once again, Tarnished Nightmare. Go and get Tarnished Nightmare if you can't get a friend to craft this for you, or if you have a craft character, then great, you can go make this. But it's a hard set to craft. It's gonna take some experience in crafting, so you're gonna want to level up your crafting, or find a friend that has a high enough crafting to craft Cold Harbor's favorite. But this is the number one like super effective set for this build. It does so much for me because I can do 2 attacks, like I said before, from farther away, and I'm doing a bonus attack if I'm close up and I'm trying to drop a bunch of damage. I'm getting extra damage on top of it. But Tarnished Nightmare's a pretty good secondary set if you cannot, for whatever reason, get this crafted for you. And yeah, so hopefully you guys found this informative. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, laters.